and welcome to my Kaldheim Day 7 spoiler review video. Before I get into the video and reviewing the cards, if you could please like, comment, and subscribe to this to the channel and on the video. Also, I do stream on twitch.tv/Jarvis_Moonbeam. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jarvis_Moonbeam. And if you'd like to join my Discord, in the description of this video, there will be a link there. But without taking any more time, because of how many spoilers we do have today, let's get into the video. So the first one is one that is probably just going to be a limited card. It is Breakneck Berserker. It's 2 in a red for a dwarf berserker that's a 3/2 with haste. There are other creatures you want to go and play in standard and limited right now. This is just going to go and be a limited card, but a very good limited card with it being a haster. The next card is King Harold's Revenge. It's 2 in a green for a sorcery. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control and gains trample. It must be blocked this turn if able. So I'm a little torn on this card. On one hand, I don't really see a shell that this works for in standard or historic. On the other hand, there are a lot of go wide strategies in standard and historic that can't always get through because of blockers being in the way. And even something as simple as like a Wildwood Scourge that you get up to being like a 32/32 playing the Celestia's +1/+1 counters deck, but it doesn't have trample, so it can't do anything. Giving it trample through this might be a good thing. I still don't think it's going to see play, but I think it will be something that sees play in limited quite a bit because it's actually a combat trick that matters. Dusk Wielder, a single black for a 1/2 elf berserker. It has Boast. For 1, you target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's going to see play. It is a 1-drop, which helps it out a lot. But in standard and historic, there are better 1-drops ready to go and play. It will go see play in limited though because it's a 1/2 for 1, which any 1-drop creatures tend to go and get played. Jaspera Senor is a single green for an elf rogue that is also 1/2. And has reach. Tap an untapped creature control, add 1 mana of any color. This will definitely be played. It has reach, which could go and block the flyers, but it also gives the ability for mana dorks. Sure, you have to tap two creatures to go and get that 1 mana, but sometimes tapping 2 creatures is all you need. Just to go and make a big difference. It would have to find the right shell in any type of standard format. Golgari Elves are a possibility. But yet again, it's another 1-drop for limited. Elder Leaf Mentor. For 3 and a green, it is an elf warrior that's a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. 4 mana, get 2 bodies. Definitely give it to me. If I'm in green, I want to draft this. Especially if there's elf synergies. Yet again, standard, if there's elf synergies and you're able to go and make an elf deck, this is something else I could see being played in it because amount of creatures matter. Yeah, I like this a lot. I don't know if it's going to be played, but I do like it. Avalanche Caller for 1 and a green, 1 and a blue. It's a snow creature human wizard that's a 1/3 for 2 generic. Target snowland you control becomes a 4/4 elemental creature token with haste and hexproof until end of turn. It's still a land. When I read this card, I was so confused. The reason why I was confused is this seems like an ability that you would see on a green creature, not a blue creature. I like it a lot for standard. I like it, especially a standard control deck. I really like this card. It is only 2 mana, and it gives you the ability to go and get a 4/4 out of it right away. So it's essentially for 4 mana, you get a 1/3 and a 4/4. Limited, it's gonna not be as good in limited, and the reason why it won't be as good in limited is because you have to draft your snow lands in limited, or you have to get lands in color in your sealed pool in limited. But this is much more of a standard card that you would want to go and see played. Cyclone Summoner. 5 and 2 blue. It is a giant wizard that's a 7/7. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, return all permanents to their owner's hands except for giants, wizards, and lands. So right now, it looks like there's a lot of Is It Giant support. With there being all this Is It Giant support, I think that this is going to see play. I think you will see this a lot in a standard deck because people are going to try to make giant travel work. This is going to see play in limited because this is going to be a bomb. A 7 mana. This is going to be your top end. 7 mana, 7/7. That makes it that unless your opponent are playing giants or wizards, that all you could go and attack with the 7/7, and your next turn, and they have to take time to rebuild. This will probably be seen as a budget board wipe in Commander as well, because there's wizard travel decks already. Why not make a giant travel deck? So this will probably be a budget board wipe in Commander as well. Carfell Forerunner, 1 and a blue. Tap, add a blue. And it's a zombie wizard that's also a 1/3. You tap it and add a blue. Spend this mana only to foretell cards or to cast an instant or sorcery spell. It's not going to see play. You don't like cards that give mana restrictions or restrictions on the mana and how you're able to spend it most of the time. Unless a foretell deck really takes off, I don't think this is going to be played. Probably would see play in limited just because it's a 2-drop that's a 1/3 that you could go and use it to foretell with. But you'd have to be drafting a foretell deck, otherwise I don't see the point in playing it. Squash. This art is awesome. For 4 and a red, it's an instant that costs 3 less to cast if you control a giant. It deals 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So, 6 damage for 5 is already really good rate of return. Most of the time when you get to those 6 damage spells to a single target, a lot of times they are like 5 or 6 mana already. But the fact that you cast this for 2, you cast this for the cost of a stomp and deal 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And going back to isn't giants being relevant, mono red giants are just as relevant. This is going to be played a lot. That 6 damage, that could take out all the major creatures that you see play. It deals with Uro, Kroxa, Questing Beast, Gargaroth, Bone Crusher, Lovestruck Beast. All of those. The only creature that sees play that this won't deal with is Beanstalk Giant. But Beanstalk Giant, I don't think that's a card you have to worry enough about that this is going to make a difference. Yet again, Commander, in a tribal deck, sure. Limited, definitely. This is great removal in limited. And yet again, that picture is just so badass. Cinderheart Giant, 5 and 2 red. It's a giant berserker, that's a 7/6, so another 7-drop. It has trample. When it dies, it deals 7 damage to a creature an opponent controls chosen at random. Yet again, a great top end for limited, especially the fact that it has trample, which so far a lot of the cards I've seen in this set, when you get to the top end, they don't have trample, is fantastic. And then even when it dies, it's dealing 7 damage to a creature that an opponent controls at random, unless the creature that it ends up landing on has indestructible, which the likelihood of that is typically low unless all their creatures have indestructible. It's fantastic. Standard to play, probably not. Just because of the randomization, and I think they're better giants at 7 mana or even less. Breaker of Icebergs, 4 and a blue. A snow giant wizard that's a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls. If a snow mana was spent to cast Breaker of Icebergs, that permanent doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So like I said, a better giant at 7 or less mana, you have one right here. It's 5 mana for a 4/4, but it taps down the creature. Or an artifact even, which is sometimes just as good. I would definitely play this over the 7 drop. It's going to be control. This is needed in all the time. It's going to see play in limited. It's going to be a really good limited card that I'll draft a lot. Yet again, unless you're making a giant tribal commander deck, or this could even be played in a wizard tribal commander deck. I don't think this is going to see commander play. But good in limited, possibly see play in standard. Battle of Frost and Fire. 3, a blue and a red is an enchantment saga. Step 1, Battle of Frost and Fire deals 4 damage to each non-giant creature and each planeswalker. Step 2, scry 3. Step 3, whenever you cast a spell with CMC 5 or greater this turn, draw 2 cards and discard a card. Step 1, it's a Storm's Wrath on an enchantment. Except it doesn't hit your giants. Or if your opponent has giants, it doesn't hit them either. So it's a situational Storm's Wrath, really. That's okay, I guess. Step 2, scry 3. Okay, I guess. Step 3, whenever you cast a spell with CMC 5 or greater, draw 2, then discard a card. Okay, I guess. So as you can tell, I just feel like everything here is just okay. Might end up being a sideboard card, but my biggest problem with this card is most of the time you're not casting spells that cost more than 5 mana multiple times a turn in standard or historic. This will see play in limited because this will be a good board wipe in limited, but it's a rare, so the likelihood of you having it is rather low. I don't love it. I don't think it's going to see play. At most, sideboard in a Giants travel build. It's just not very good, and it's just okay. Druckers Home, 1 and a black. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 and a black. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie berserker creature token, then attach Druckers Home to it. It gets +2/+2 and has menace, and the equip class is 4. Not going to be played. 5 mana to create a 2/2. No. 2/2 and menace. No. There's better things to play. I don't see a single format where this sees play. Not a good card. Rings of the Cosmos. A single white mana for an instant. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains flying until end of turn. Untap it. So I've been on the record saying I don't like combat tricks. This is a card that I think is going to be a game changer in a limited format. It gives pseudo vigilance because you declare the attacker before declare blockers, cast Wings of the Cosmos. It now has flying, given it evasion. It gets +1/+3, so you go and buff it even a little bit more. Bomb in limited. It's such a game changer. Standard and historic, commander, probably not a place for it. But in limited, definitely. Funeral Longbow. 2 generic mana for an artifact vehicle that's a 3/3. Has vigilance with crew 1. It's not going to be played. It's okay. Not going to be played though. Gold Vein Pick. 2 mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Equip for 1. So I don't think this is going to see play in standard or historic. I don't think it's going to even be that good of a limited card. I actually really like this for commander. It gives a way to ramp outside of traditional ramp effects like Soul Ring or Mana Crypt. And it can be played in colors other than green, which give another way to ramp. And to get it going, you only need 3 mana, and it pays for itself after 3 turns. Or if you put it on a double striker, it pays itself after 2 turns, because you get 2 mana right away. Then on the second turn, you get another 2 mana. I really like this card. I don't know if I can find a place for it in my commander decks, but I'm going to look, because I like that it ramps, and I like how it ramps. Plus, I love treasure. Now the card that everybody's been going crazy for today. Mystical Reflection. It's 1 and a blue. It's an instant. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers would enter the battlefield this turn, they enter the battlefield as copies of the chosen creature instead. As foretell for a single blue. So this is a commander card if there ever was a commander card. I personally really like this if you're going to use it, where my mind went to, because I'm just so degenerate, is you create a bunch of tokens, whether it's something through like Avenger of Zendikar or through an Expo to create tokens, and having an Agent of Treachery out on the battlefield, getting multiple Agents of Treacheries to steal stuff and get card draw off all those Agents of Treacheries at the end of your turn is beautiful. As other people have brought up, they brought it up in a more competitive sense. Go and cast this. Cast your Dockside Extortionist. With its ETB on the stack, if you wanted to, you could go and, with the ETB on the stack, you cast Mystical Reflection, targeting your Dockside Extortionist. All those tokens. Oh, I'm sorry, not with the Dockside Extortionist, I'm sorry. With another token creator on the stack. Sorry, I was thinking it's only creatures. My mistake. With another creature, a token generator on the stack, you copy Dockside Extortionist. You now have multiple Dockside Extortionists, you now have multiple treasures, you go out of control. People have said Avenger of Zendikar. With the Avenger of Zendikar trigger on the stack, this is where they went. You target Avenger of Zendikar. You go and make all those tokens, instead of it becoming one Avenger of Zendikar and a bunch of plant tokens, it becomes one Avenger of Zendikar, a bunch of more Avenger of Zendikars, and a bunch of plant tokens. So it's going to be crazy. I like it. We'll see what happens with it. Bears of Jarrah. 1 a green and a blue. Step 1. Create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. Any number of target shapeshifters you control have base power and toughness of 4/4 for step 2. And step 3, choose up to one target creature or planeswalker. Each creature you control with power 4 or greater deals damage equal to its power to that permanent. This is only a translation, so step 2 doesn't say until end of turn. If that changes to end of turn, this gets worse. If it stays in base power 4/4, it can be very good, because step 3 acts as a destroy everything. Or destroy, not everything, destroy a problem. So, step 1, 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. Step 2, you have a bunch of 4/4s. There's shapeshifters that are colorless. Step 3, you destroy Nugan. And that's why I said the colorless part, because you hope that it's later and they can't gonna get or minus Nugan again. I like it. It'd be better if it gets on all that damage to face. Might see standard play. The shapeshifter part, shapeshifters are still in such a weird spot that it may or may not see standard play. Might see commander play in like a changeling tribal deck, if those changelings are shapeshifters, because it does say shapeshifter, not changeling. But of course, most changelings can go and be creature of any creature type. But we'll see. This has a lot of openness, and probably be in a lower power commander just for like a fun deck. Battle for Agar. 1 a green and a white. Step 1, create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. Step 2, create a 1/1 white elf warrior creature token. Step 3, choose any number of artifact tokens and or creature tokens you control with different names. For each of them, create a token that's a copy of it. Step 1 and Step 2, I don't care about. They're a 1/1 token. Step 3, this is where this is going to see play in Commander. You have the Garrett, the Populate Commander, that play things like Desolation Twin. And you have so many times that your tokens, that you're going to have multiple tokens of different things, especially if you're playing something like the Populate deck. Step 3 could be Desolation Twin, Rhino, Elf, Human, and a bunch of other stuff on top of it. This is going to be a commander card, especially a Tokens Matter commander deck. Standard, There aren't token decks in Standard as of right now, so I don't think this is going to be played in Standard. But yeah, Commander for sure. Narfi, Betrayer King, is 3, a blue and a black for a legendary snow creature zombie wizard that's a 4/3. Other snow and zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. For 3 snow, return Narfi, Betrayer King from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Okay. A commander that gets around commander attacks. Yes, please. It's 5 mana to go and cast him the first time, but every time after that, it's only 3 mana. And it doesn't even say that you have to go and do it at sorcery speed. You can go and do this on your opponent's end step. The snow and zombie creatures you control, I don't think the snow creatures are going to be too relevant, but people love Dimir zombies, and they build zombie tribal all the time. This is a very good zombie commander. It acts as an anthem, and it keeps bringing itself back alive. This is a commander card, not a standard card as of now, because there isn't enough zombie synergy. I think in the 5 slot there are better options, but it's definitely a very good commander card, and one of the ones that if I was building a new commander deck right now that I would look heavily at. Clarion Spirit, 1 and a white. It's a creature spirit that's a 2/2. But whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. I don't like these cards that are being printed in colors that aren't red or blue that are rewarding you for casting a second spell each turn. Especially with where Standard is right now, you are going and pretty much casting 1 spell a turn most of the time. I don't think this is going to see play. I don't even think this is worth drafting being a 2/2 for 2 without any other things other than casting a second spell each turn. I don't like the card. Agar the Freezing Flame, 1 a blue and a red for a legendary giant wizard. He's a 3/3. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if a giant wizard or spell you controlled dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So what this says is if you have a burn spell, or if you were going and dealing combat damage, that if it was more than the toughness of the creature or the loyalty counters on the planeswalker, you go and get to draw a card. So you go and send in your Bone Crusher Giant, and someone tries to chump block with a 1/1, you draw a card. You go and have to go and cast a Stomp on their Edgewall Innkeeper, you draw a card. And I keep going to Bone Crusher Giant because Bone Crusher Giant is the best giant in the game currently. This ties together Isn't Giants very well, and is probably the second best one in a 3-drop slot, only behind Bone Crusher. This is a great commander for Giant Travel as well, if you want to do a commander deck. I think this is a very good card, and we'll see play quite a bit, especially if there is a viable giant deck in Standard. Jarrah's Judgment, 1, 2 white and a black. 1, create a 4/4 white Angel Warrior creature token with flying and vigilance. 2, until end of turn, angels you control gain destroy target creature with less power than this creature. Step 3, angels you control gain double strike until end of turn. I don't love this card. The 4/4 white Angel Warrior creature token with flying and vigilance is nice because flyers are always very good because they're evasive. They're great to have. The second step I don't think is viable. There are a grand total of 2 angels right now in Standard that have power great enough to go, that is 5 or greater I should say, and they both have 5 power. So you have 2 angels currently in Standard that could go and kill 6 or greater. They can go and kill a Lovestruck Beast. So Lovestruck Beast is kind of where you're looking at. You want stuff on the battlefield that could kill a Lovestruck Beast. Mono green isn't going away, and any deck that plays green plays Lovestruck Beast because it's a 5/5 for 3 that you only need a 1/1 for, Even if that one goes away, you still have a big body to go and block with. I don't like it. I think that step is bad, and it's not good. Step 3, angels you control gain double strike until end of turn. So this limits it even more because you're now have to depend on playing Angel Tribal and not getting your board wiped. Out of all of these steps, the only one that you could rely on is step 1, where you create a 4/4 white Angel Warrior creature token with flying and vigilance. Step 2 and step 3 they might be relevant sometimes. It'd be relevant and limited, for sure. But past limited, I don't think this card really is playable and is going to see play. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anywhere where you want it to be. Kind of sucks too, because otherwise, if it was all creatures until end of turn, I think this would probably see a lot more play. Not Bold Recluse. 2 and a green, 4/2 with reach. It's a spider. It's going to see play in limited just because it's a reachy creature to go and deal with flyers. This is just a limited card. It's not going to see play anywhere else. Frostpeak Yeti, 3 and a blue. There's a snow creature Yeti. Yeah, Yeti. For 1 in the snow. You can make it so it can't be blocked this turn, and it's a 3/3. So, it's a creature with evasion. The Yeti part of it doesn't make sense to me because there really aren't Yetis in Magic. It's a new creature type, really. The fact that you could go and make it unblockable is really nice. I still think it's more of a limited card. I don't think it's going to really see standard play. It's a really nice card to have in limited, and yet again, a place I really want to be in drafting. Typically, I'm not a blue player in draft. The cards in this set are making me want to be a blue player in draft. Carfell Kennelmaster, 4 and a black. Zombie Berserker for 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. Great draft card. Fantastic draft card. Not good enough for a standard environment. At 5 mana, there's other creatures you want to play, there's other spells you want to play. But for draft, fantastic. And this is the final card for today. It is another god. It's a mono white god. Raydan, God of Justice for 2 and a white. It's a 2/3 flying vigilant god. Snowlands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. Non-creature spells your opponent casts with CMC 4 or more cost 2 more to cast. So on the front there, if you want to go full hate bears, which you could actually do this in standard right now, pair her with Archon of Maria. You make it so their snowlands come in tapped, you make it so their non-basic lands come in tapped. So you make it, between those 2 cards, your opponents only have tap lands. Add on to that with Archon of Maria, they can only play 1 spell each turn. You can only play 1 spell each turn as well, but you're voting the deck, so you should be able to play around it. And you're making it that anything that's 4 or more is now 6 or more to cast. Is it going to be relevant? Maybe, maybe not. Their hate bears could be viable because you also have things like Yasharn that you can play. It'll be a lot of fun. Now its backside is Radiant's Shield for 3 and a white. It's an artifact that if a source an opponent controls would deal damage to you or a permanent you control to prevent one of that damage. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless its controller pays 1. So the back of it isn't as good for me as the front is. However, if a source would deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent one of that damage. So that on a wide board, we could, or even on not so wide board, you could be preventing 3 or 4 damage off of a few creatures. You could be preventing lethal in quite a few ways there. It makes it so your opponents, It taxes your opponents as well with making them pay that 1 extra for the target of a spell or ability. And I kind of like it in a Hate Bears Commander deck. I don't think you really do mono white Hate Bears Commander, but I think this could be in a Hate Bears Commander deck. I don't think it could go and be the commander though for that deck. So I like it in standard. I like it in commander. I actually do not like it in draft. Mostly because it's a 2/3 for 3, and a 2/3 for 3 isn't the greatest return, and they'll try to kill it right away anyway. It is a flyer, so that does help. And I don't think I'd want to go and play the shield in draft because the 1 extra mana probably isn't going to make a big difference there. But that's it for all the cards. Let me know what you think. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Give me your opinions. Make sure to let me know. But enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one.